All right, next on stage, I am thrilled to welcome my colleague Angela Kreitenweiss, founder of Token Engineering Academy, who will be presenting Token Engineering, Designing Economic Networks Beyond Web2. This presentation will dive into the evolution of the internet from the early static Web 1 to the powerful Web 2 platform economies that are dominated by industry giants like Amazon, Facebook, and Google. She'll explore how Web 3 disrupts the landscape with its key principles of decentralization and permissionless access where anyone can use services without barriers. So here she is. Yeah.
Okay, here we are. Hello, welcome to my talk. Today I'm here from Token Engineering Academy. I'll tell you more in a moment about who we are, what we do, what token engineering is. Token engineering is basically a new discipline that you can't study nowhere. It's a crypto-native discipline, and it's about designing new economic systems. And if you look at tokens, what tokens, crypto tokens can be, a currency, a digital currency. It can also represent access rights, like NFTs to enter an event like this. It can be an investment or represent ownership, participation, decision-making rights in a DAO. We can design these tokens and we can design the rules of the game, what we can do with tokens, what value add to systems we can reward, and this is token design. And it draws from existing disciplines like computer science, cryptography, economics, designing economic systems, and here we can draw from centuries of knowledge, game theory, algorithmic mechanism design, because we can encode economic rules and incentives. We combine it with systems engineering, because we have nonlinear dynamical systems. We have data at a granularity like never beforehand. We can track transactions. We can see networks evolve and emerge. We can apply AI. Currently, we are running experiments with natural language interfaces to interact with systems and simulations, handling the complexity. And we have the human layer, governance, important questions in political science, democracy, voting, representation, coordination. This is token engineering. And since I said, today you can study this nowhere. We are drawing from existing fields, but this combination is new. So in 2020, we founded TE Academy and built the first bachelor-level program in token engineering. And it's 5 modules going through the whole token engineering design process. It's online, so it's available for everyone, everywhere. It's free without fees. And today we have 3,000 students enrolled in only 1 year after the launch. We have peer-to-peer study groups who are meeting every week, learning token engineering. In total, 46, studying in 14 languages, from Turkish to English, to German, to Spanish, a huge Latin American crowd, to Hindi actually, to Arabic. And we're glad to have this global community because it's important to have many perspectives, people from different backgrounds, from different walks of lives, working on the incentives to shape our future. But now, I don't want to, these are our partners. So it's important to us that we work with the most important protocols, VCs, startups, token engineering researchers in this space. We are organizing events pretty much every month. We are glad to be here, to be very close to the crypto ecosystem and to the actual challenges we see here running open science groups discussing particular token designs, and we're very glad to have this partner network. Okay, but now I'd like to take you on a journey, and this is about our dreams and the choices we make. So I wonder, think about for a moment what brought you here. What are you looking for? What would you like to learn today? Or maybe you have something to share and you'd like to find allies. Maybe you have some plans. Where would you like to be in 2 years from now? What would you like to achieve? And now look around you. Istanbul, the globe. Where could we be in 2 years? And maybe what are also some threats or difficulties we feel? And how can we deal with it? 5 years ago, I was in the hospital under intensive care. And this was an important turning point in my life. And I had to make a choice, or maybe I should say, back then, it allowed me to make a choice between trust in my own capabilities. What can I do? What would I love to do? What are the opportunities that I have? And how can I make the most of it? And do I think I can make the most of it? And of course, there's also always fear. Fear of failure, fear of the environment around me. And trust makes you productive, so you think you can achieve things. You think you can have a say. You think you can build something, and you trust that it will work out. Versus fear makes you fight. Fight against other ideas. Fight against other perspectives. And it makes you destroy your enemies on an individual level and also as a community. Now I'd like to take you on a journey through the history of crypto. Let's see, there were always these turning points where people had the choice between trust and fear. First, let's go back to the 1980s, where a movement started long before the internet was something common. Internet was the HTML published in 1989. Even earlier, people thought about we might become digital people living in a digital world. And what does this mean for us, for human beings, and for freedom? How can we maintain freedom in a world that's potentially fully trackable? And they started to think about cryptography and how to maintain being free and anonymous and be under control who you are in a digital world. And for them, freedom was much more important than convenience. And today, we see these traces of this movement still in crypto, with self-custody, with user agency, with privacy. And this is inspired by this choice that there is no, of course there are threats or challenges in the digital world, but there are options to deal with it, and we can do something about it. And we want to empower people to decide for themselves. Freedom. Fast forward, 2008. Lehman Brothers collapse caused a global financial crisis, with millions of people losing their houses, losing their jobs. 2008, only a few months later, the Bitcoin white paper was published. And I don't know if you've read it, but the fundamental idea is that we can build an alternative financial monetary systems that is relying on computational verification. And we can rely on this agreement of the state of the systems, that the transactions listed and traced there are trustworthy and legit. And we don't need a central authority anymore. So we can hand over to computers. Now think about it. For computers, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what passport you have. It doesn't matter what language you speak. This was the starting point for permissionless systems. Systems that allow everyone to come on board and to participate. And we trust that computers will secure these systems. And in fact, Bitcoin hasn't been hacked since then. And more people started to think about permissionless systems. And only the fact that we trust that it's doable to build global systems, unbreakable systems that allow everyone, whatever motivation you might have, to come on board and participate, requires loads of trust and confidence in what we are able to build, as opposed to fear, defend, exclude, reduce, eliminate. Next step, after Bitcoin and after first permissionless systems, the DAO in 2016 was launched. Who knows the DAO? Yes, okay, a lot of you. The DAO was the first decentralized autonomous organization, and it was a next step on top of these permissionless foundations. It was the first example of an organization forming around shared values. Again, with the only prerequisite that you participate via tokens. And it not only included transactions, there was a lot of thinking about the decision-making, funding projects, coordination, and a truly global organization that has no boundaries, not when it comes to nation states, not when it comes to, again, languages, backgrounds, truly global organizations and communities. But again, run by the rules embedded in code. You know, if you know the DAO, that this can be a challenge at times. And only months after the DAO was established, it was hacked. And basically disappeared, but the idea didn't disappear. Because what happened was that due to the hack, Ethereum forked, and the Ethereum that we have today is a result of this fork. Now think again, after this incident, and it really was a major pain to see that such a big vision could fail in such a short amount of time, but the result was not that people stopped. The result was also not that people started to fight. They just continued building. And the fork is such a beautiful example of trust versus fear, because people just entered the next stage and built something better. And this is what we have today, the Ethereum network. And look at what we have achieved since then, 2016. Defining these rules of the game is sometimes hard. As you can see with the DAOs, making systems secure can be really hard. And also, finding a way out can be hard. And with the Ethereum network, we again have a good example of how to find a way out. The starting point securing the system of Ethereum was proof of work consensus. And consensus is basically the mechanism to secure your system. And it's the very core component of any blockchain system, the consensus mechanism. And seeing that proof of work had its limitations, even though it's very secure, brought us to proof of stake today, with cheaper transactions, with a significant reduction in energy consumptions. So we had another iteration of defining the rules of the system that ultimately brought us to fair and transparent systems that are permissionless, that are safe, robust, and that allow everyone to participate and fulfill the purpose of a system. And that's basically what token engineering is all about. It's about designing systems that are run by tokens, that provide a maximum degree of freedom, that have rules that are embedded in code so that computers can enforce the rules, that reward all value contributions in a network and are attractive, and that define these systems in a fair, transparent, and easy-to-use way. And if you'd like to learn more about this vision of token engineering, let's stay in touch via our newsletter and via our community. Again, 3,000 students who, with a background in computer science, economics, AI, data science, who are working on the systems of the future. And there's a lot to explore. There are a lot of new nuts to crack. And there are a lot of opportunities that we'll discuss in a moment. I just hope if you today or tomorrow in 2 years, if we all together have more turning points, and I'm sure there will be plenty, that we can all choose trust and not fear. Thank you. I'd like to ask Cem and Alp on stage, and I think we need some stairs. Yeah.